All right, we're back. After a little internet disconnection, we are back up and running here at Sharky Waters. Eric's going to be resharing this video out to everybody who's not connected with us, so I'm assuming we'll get all our friends back up here shortly. But in the meantime, we're going to kick things back off. Dom versus Joey in the Shark Attack. You fans know the deal here. First thing we're going to do is lag for the break. So whoever wins the lag and gets closest to that back rail is going to get the first break.
You believe a monster lurks in each of us.
Joey wins the lag, which will put him up to break first. So the rules in the Shark Attack, we are playing 9-ball, and it is a race to 7. So the first person to win 7 racks wins the game. You got to have a legal hit on every shot, which means you got to touch the object ball, and then the object ball or the cue ball must touch a rail after that initial contact. Hit all the balls in order and get them to fall in the pocket. If you combo or carom the 9-ball early, you win the match, or if you run all the way out to the 9, you win as well. Unlucky break there as Joey scratches the cue ball. That'll hand things over to Dom. Two ball down on the break. Dom gets the 1 to fall, brings it around for the 3, and gets a definitely closer than social distancing laws to that 7-ball. But gives a little angle, and he's able to get the 3 to fall nonetheless. Glued right up there on that 6-ball, but hard to say if that's going to be an object in the way between him and the 4. It looks like maybe he's going to be all right. Gets contact, avoids a scratch on the 6, but is just a little bit off target, and so he'll hand things back over to Joey. Joey gets the 4 to drop. A little bit of draw sends him across the short side of the table with quite a cut on this 5 now. Gets that really narrow angle, but unfortunately not only missing, but scratching. So that'll be ball in hand back to Dom. Dom gets the 5, pushes off that back rail, and sends the cue ball about 2/3 of the way down the table. Goes for the really narrow cut on the 6. Doesn't quite get it to go, but finds himself safe behind the 9-ball. Joined here in the commentary booth by Eric. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing great. Glad to be back in the Shark Tank.
100%.
Joey's going to have a kick here. Puts a lot of heft on that, gets that 6 moving around, and it knocks off the 9 and ends up in his side pocket. Although he's left himself pretty straight on this 7 with no pocket directly in front of him. So.
I actually kind of like the gray. It doesn't leave my, it just leaves my hands kind of dusty. So the bluish.
Talking about the chalk color, I'm a fan of the gray chalk too. It's kind of classy.
Yeah. It is.
Great bank shot.
Joey showing a bit of his true speed here with that bank.
And then slows it down, makes a nice contact on the 8, drifts it up to a good leave for the 9 ball.
And that's an out for Joey. First rack goes to the guest. You know what? I'd like to know statistics on like the sports stats on like who gets the first win, and then statistically like who gets the first 7
If
wins.
that first opportunity for a momentum to gain, basically, if it gives you that upper edge.
Right. Like
That's a good question.
all the sports stuff that I know, like really truly know from watching it a lot, is in like basketball. And I know in like basketball playoffs, they talk about like if you go up 3-0, statistically, you've already won the championship or you've already won the series.
Right, the first few minutes of the game, you mean, like right off the bat,
If you-
3-0 the score.
Well, no, because it's like a series, 7 games, and so if you go up 3-0, then statistically you've already won, even though you technically have to win that 4th game.
Yeah, it's just
So I want to know the shark attack version of that.
Ooh, now I wanted to go.
spread those balls all around the table, but 9 didn't quite drop. It looked like it was looking for that side pocket there, find its home and give him win number 2, but
Yeah, that would have been wild.
balls had another story.
Not to be too distracted from Shark Attack, but I think that there's only 2 teams in sports history that have ever defeated those odds. One of them is like in hockey. I think it's like incredibly rare.
Dom's talking about the sports teams in history that he thinks there's only 2 that have ever beaten those odds, and I think you're right, Dom. I think one was in hockey, and I think the other was in the NFL. Just barely avoids that one ball falling down, and it looked like he had it hooked behind the 9, but I think Joey's just able to see a little corner of that. Another fun hockey fact is the first ever Stanley Cup was won by the Seattle Pilots.
That's amazing. Do they know what they're going to name the new Seattle hockey team?
I don't know, actually. I don't know the what team we're getting. Is that through expansion or is a team relocating?
I want to say it's through expansion.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
It's only what the first
Good question. I remember seeing some posts on Facebook, and I can't remember what group it was. Seeing the confidence come through here as Joey brings out the jump cue.
Get some tips on jumping from Dom before the match, and now he's going to use them to beat Dom.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Great contact. Gets the 2 to go. Little punch off the rail, leaving it right on the rail. That's a safety
That's a
jump
great
shot.
safe shot. Yeah. Jump shot safe. That's a perfect way to use your first jump shot against Dom, is to put him in a tough safe like that. Well planned. Well planned.
Yeah, I like that play a lot.
I think he's even safe from the kick. Yeah, it looks like that 5 and the 8 and the 6. Yeah, all kinds of stuff is going to make this shot challenging. He can kick the other way, or he might just grab his jump cue and jump it right back.
Speaking of the hopper, what was it called?
Some people thought it was the...
Ooh!
Wow, that was close.
Man, we like harmonized there for a second.
Yeah. Ooh.
Whoa, living on a prayer. And as Dom goes for an awesome jump jump, kick, 2-rail jump. Yeah,
2-rail jump kick.
2-rail jump kick.
that's the shot.
Yeah, that was
Came within
razor thin.
Came within an inch of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, no contact. It's the St. Horseshoes, so that's ball in hand to Joey. And he just gets on the other side of that 5. I think he's going to be okay.
I don't know where he's going to go with that 3, though. That's tough to slice that into the side. That's a pretty small pocket when it comes from this tight of an angle like that. And he might be a little wide for that bank back in the side. He's got to put some action on it. Rachel thinks we are the Ooh Band. The Ooh Band. The Oh Band. I wish I could hear how you said it, Rachel, instead of read. But either way, I'm down.
Dom ends up pretty safe. Was going for the 3 in the corner, but of all of the ways that you can leave that to your opponent, it's definitely not the worst one. Little error there as Joey comes in contact with the 4-ball before the 3, and the 4-ball falls. So they will leave it in the pocket, but it will be ball in hand to Dom now, still looking at the 3.
All the way down the table there and follows it with a little top on that cue ball to leave him pretty close to where he wanted.
Yeah, I like that shot a lot. And even though he got just a touch out of line, he was able to recover really nicely and get himself right back where he wanted to be.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, when you if you're a little bit off on one leave and you're a little bit more on the next one, it's always very impressive to see guys who can get a little bit off and then find a way to work their way back into that line.
Yeah. Little dribble in and out of that side pocket. The 7-ball does not fall, and he hands it back over to Joey. Yeah, it's like you imagine if you do all your routine and everything correctly and you're set up for the shot and it's a good shot and you're comfortable, you still have anywhere from like 5 to 10% margin of error, even on like a good day or whatever. Maybe that is a good day, right? And so your 5 to 10% margin of error, then if you get out of line 5 to 10%, then your next margin of error becomes like 15 to 25%.
Oh yeah, exponential growth there. Looks like he's going to drift that 7 right back. Oh, kept going a few inches and left Dom a tough one here against the rail almost.
Just barely misses the target there. He was really soft and really careful with the shot. I'm surprised that didn't go.
I think he was thinking about that too, is the speed of those 2 shots, that if you do miss that, it's going to leave him a tough one just like this.
Totally. I think too, like as much as we kind of joke about how our vintage table that we have here, that the rubber on it is a little funky. Great attempt there at the kick by Joey. He just narrowly misses his target as well. And you can see even now from the overhead, like the spots where the people break on the left and the right side and the spots where the balls come off from the diamond, you can definitely see some marks on the felt there. As Dom gets the 7 to go in the corner pocket, comes back around 2 rails and nudges the 8 a little bit. All of that being said, and all of the quirks and the roughing around the edges of this vintage table here, it still plays really fast.
Oh yeah, this is quick for sure. Quick felt. You got to have nice easy shots, good tempo, good feel I think that's what I was looking for. Good feel shots on here, and nice easy ones, just like they were practicing in the drill in the beginning of those little slight back draws.
What was that thing called? That rack called again? The circular one?
The Sharknado. Oh no, the rack a break, break a rack, rack around.
Rack around. Corny.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Just have to work it out loud.
Joe, if you need to lose the mic and the body pack or whatever, you can just take it all the way off if you need it.
Yeah, we can actually. Yeah, if we can just move it down, just test it off.
Getting a little readjustment here on the mic so you can feel more comfortable. Get down.
That's the right move. It's a lot of pressure on a 9-ball shot, and you want to make sure you just get yourself as comfortable as you can. And no shot clock here, so if you need to reset, like, just get cozy.
Sometimes, though, it's tough to do something like that and then come back and reset and you find that same mindset. But he left Dom a tricky little one here. It's a little cut into the corner.
Oh, narrowly misses that one. Sends it pretty far close to that corner. You got to imagine that Joey's out here. But we shoot every shot here at Sharky Waters. Nothing's a freebie. And the more that I talk, the more pressure people seem to feel. So I just keep saying shit, and the results get weird sometimes. Ooh.
Scared him a little bit with that cue ball drifting up. Wow.
Not enough pressure for Joey, though. That puts him up 0-2 or 2-0, depending on which way you're looking at it, against Dom. And, yeah, pretty impressive play. This is first time that I've seen Joey play, and we're talking a lot of shit and having fun, and he's, like, just having a good time and seems to not faze him.
Oh, no, he's doing well. He's doing great. I've played with him once before. I met him at a tournament, and we hit some balls around on the table on the side just to mess around, and he's a really nice guy, easy to go along with, and he's got a good head on his shoulders when it comes to pool, too.
Rack 3, Joey's up again.
Man, he like springs forward on that break. He's got a lot of power that comes through it.
Really reminds me of Sean Lewis's break, his form and his the way he's moving his body into the stroke.
Yeah, that power is almost generated from your feet. You know, comes from your feet to your hips, around almost like a punch.
Doing that kind of like walking on my back foot and stuff, and just kind of pushing off of it.
Yeah, so he's actually pushing off of his back foot from that little bit extra power on that break shot.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, the 4-ball went on the break, and he goes for a little timing shot here and gets it to fall.
Even in the intended pocket, just a couple more rails than he was hoping.
Impressive. And we're looking at the 2-ball now in the far corner pocket.
I'm wondering how he's going to get back for that 3. If he went a little soft, he might have wanted to. Oh, it looks like he's still got a look. Good. Okay, that 9's not blocking it.
Yeah, it looked like from our view that it might be. And it's that situation where you kind of need to go hard one way or soft the other.
It's a good attempt there to get it down the rail.
Yeah.
It almost kicked off and did the same thing that that 1-ball did. I think Joey's got some good side pocket juju going with him tonight.
Yeah, it seems that way for sure.
As
Dom gets the 3 to fall. You should have just kept talking. We would have said it at the same time. It's like we're finishing each other's
sandwiches.
Sorry, Dom. I haven't had the clock doctor here in the commentary booth for too long, man. We're like making up for lost time here.
Absolutely great to have you guys back.
Someone posted a link to the rack around again, just to remind us.
It's got to be guys.
Thanks, Dana.
Yeah, it was Dana when we were talking about it.
Oh, is that the first one?
No, he did it again.
He did it again?
Yeah.
Okay. 6 ball in the, speaking of side pocket juju, but unfortunately that 8 ball is going to be a bit of a problem here.
I think I know what is on his mind.
It is.
I wonder if Dana has stock in rack around 8 ball.
He's like the Hitoshi Nakamoto of rack around. He like actually created it, but no one can know that he created it, or it will like blow the whole back to the crypto. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's decentralized.
Round racking.
Round racking. I don't know how it's decentralized, but back to pool.
It's got to be like slightly off center.
Joey gets the jump, makes contact with the 7. Ooh, and a little bit of a tough angle that he leaves Dom with. Dom's able to cut it and get it to come back around.
Hey, they may not have gone in, but Joey basically learned how to jump tonight, and he's used the jump shot twice in a tournament setting. A challenge setting. High pressure, thank you, setting. And makes contact on both of them. That is thoroughly impressive.
That is impressive.
As Dom just barely misses that 8 ball, tries to slow roll it into the corner and leave himself on the 9.
Left a tough shot after both jumps as well. Can't be mad with that.
Oh, here Dana's saying he's all about it because he just had to hunt one down and do a bunch of research. They're the only one that makes it. And so he's all about it. I think we should get one of these. It's kind of a cool idea, or maybe make one out of a.
Who was it that we were talking
Piece
to
of
about a similar thing, like a bullseye target?
Jeff Jerome.
That's right, Jeff. Shout out
Brought
Jeff.
it, right? He laid it out on the table, and they have all those. That's a really cool setup that he had.
All right, Joey goes for his usual bank and misses the 9 ball. So Dom here looking for it out, and he just barely dogs it. Unfortunate.
They were both struggling a little bit with this 9 ball, but he lines it up for Dom.
All right, now I'm warmed up. You're going to wish you never gave me that one.
Dom's calling the momentum shift right there. The momentum shift.
Dom's watching Memento, starring
Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce. Is it Guy Pearce?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Dom coming in with all the answers tonight, helping us out. Well, he's focused on the game. That's impressive.
Who I don't know is the girl who plays Trinity.
the actress that plays Trinity in The Matrix. Bonus points to whoever in the chat room can tell us who played Trinity in The Matrix. What I want to know is why your computer says 23 people are watching and mine says 4. It's time for me to refresh, I think.
We'll just call it 13. We'll average it out. I think you needed a refresh. Tord needed a refresh on his equipment.
It was time for a refresh. I can see the correct number. And thanks to all 20, however many of you for being here and supporting the show. We love our fans. You know, we really do. We talk to our fans all the time. And I think like every show ever says this, but it's probably because it's true to them. We have like the coolest fans.
We really do. Yeah, it's super exciting to get engagement and have people be so excited to come out here and watch what we're doing and want to be a part of it and engage. And it's just truly a blessing, really. So thank you, all of you amazing sharks out there.
Big time. Carrie Ann Moss.
I had it too. I looked at them. I was like, oh yeah,
Hear that, Dom? Carrie Ann Moss.
Carrie Ann Moss. All right, Rachel, let's see. Do you know the name of the third actor in Memento, the gentleman who messes with Guy Pearce? And he ends up killing. He's a pretty famous actor. He's been in a lot more stuff, too. I just can't recall anything at the moment. But the pressure's on, Rachel.
Joey shooting at the 1, gets it to fall in the corner.
Hopefully that stays nice and easy. It does. Looking good on that 3 next.
Nice.
Might have to break out the bamboo bridge.
Yeah, that's a long stretch there. You know, something that we should do more often is during the shark attacks is just like pop quiz. Do like a whose line is it anyway, like irrelevant style point system, and then just ask a bunch of weird questions, and then whoever can get them gets awarded a bajillion points.
Pop quiz. What is the name of the tower in Die Hard? The original
Ooh.
Die Hard.
It's a real tower, isn't it?
Yes, it is a real tower. Still there.
Joey with the bridge going for the 3 gets a little bit of a weird contact, but ends up hooking it behind the 4 as he hands it back over to Dom. Looks like Dom's surveying the situation here before he shoots. Gets the
Great.
3 to go, and it's coming back around. Ooh,
I think
a little
he
bit
might
tied
have
up.
stopped quick enough to get an eye. He's looking thin. He might have a little masse. Oh, just a little bit too soft, and that masse took over and just missed the 4. Rachel, of course, comes in with the answer of Joe. It just lost it. Joe Pantoliano.
Yeah.
And also, she knows the name of the tower. There's no Googling in Sharky Waters.
Yeah,
Actually,
honor
that's not
system.
true. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like really obscure, like super nerdy stuff that I know from when I was a kid, watching like way too much anime and a lot of like Star Wars and stuff. There's like some definitely like 90s far nerdier side of me that like knows how to fuse the blue eyes white dragon in Yu-Gi-Oh if you have the right cards and like all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Eric's
I
looking at me
don't think I
like
do
he just
very
saw a
well in
ghost.
that trivia.
Yes.
I think we were talking, before about Neopets and all that kind of stuff. That's all my whole nerd set coming out. I know the Yu-Gi-Oh! I grew up on Magic and Dungeons and Dragons and stuff.
I played
Dungeons and Dragons, man.
Jetpack Santa on the computer, and it was amazing.
What's that?
It's just like a little 2-dimensional. There's
It's like an older
bricks
game.
and- oh yeah, it's like Oregon Trail, just right after Oregon Trail, in that era.
Joey goes for the 6 long ways down into the corner pocket and just narrowly misses. Jetpack Santa. Do you remember? This is like MS-DOS. This had to be Windows 95 or before that, I guess, technically. Like when DOS was the operating system. A game called Dangerous Dave.
It's sparking a little bit of a something, but I don't think I played it.
What year were you born, Eric?
86.
86. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
about the same age. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking I was in like kindergarten or first grade when I first played that game. Like we're talking like 8-bit side scroller.
Oh, for sure. Well, see, I had a 6-year-old brother, or a brother who was 6 years older, and a sister who was 8 years older. So I always played with their stuff, and they always had like the Atari. That was always fun. Pong.
Nice,
One
yeah.
of my favorites.
Dom gets the 6 and a big swing around the table to look at the 8 here.
Long way down. He decides to cross break it
oh,
to the
oh,
side
and it looked like-
almost.
Might just have enough gas, but he collides with the cue ball. What about board games? What were your childhood board games, Eric?
Let's see. Balderdash was a huge childhood board game.
Remind me what Balderdash
is
again?
where you come up. There's like one person picks a word,
I feel like you can see that shot, and it was
and they know the actual definition of that word. But whoever else is in the group takes a piece of paper and writes a fake definition, and you try to get people in the group to guess your fake definition of that word.
Great shot by Joey. That's a really, really narrow cut, but he's finding himself kind of in the same tricky situation as a few 9-balls ago. You got to imagine that he's been pretty successful with the bank shot into the side pocket, but this is a little wider than what he was looking at earlier, so
This is a tricky
hard
one.
to say.
I think he's been hitting a little firm too, which cuts down the angle a bit. But he leaves Dom quite a long shot here. Little simple angle into the corner, all the way down the table.
Tough one. I think Balderdash, I remember as you were describing the rules, I do remember that game. And I think that like ushered in an era of like a lot of those kind of like group, someone has to pick the best answer, like Cards Against Humanity, Apples to Apples is like the
does.
non-adult version of that game.
Yeah, it makes you think of those when you think of Balderdash. I think they were maybe on the forefront of that idea. There we go. Drills
Joey
to
gets the 9 to fall.
Brings the match 3-1 in Dom's favor.
You started to say the word Balderdash, and it made me think, because we were coming off of that right after talking about Dungeons and Dragons, I thought you were going to say Baldur's Gate, which is like a Dungeons and Dragons like side story computer game, I believe, when they first put that, whatever the algorithm that is that game, into a digital format. That was like one of the first, the storylines. You like could be a warrior or a dragon or like whatever the hell.
Okay, that sounds interesting. I didn't ever really get into those either. I have designed some Dungeons and Dragons. I've like drawn some Dungeons and Dragons maps for some people, but I've never played. I've always wanted to.
Well, we're gonna give our loving goodbye here to Clara as Miss Clara leaves. Thank you so much for coming by. We love you. Drive safe, okay?
Thank you. Yeah, you too.
Too much nerd talk. We scared her away, bro.
What was your favorite? What was like your family game when people got together? What would you guys do as a family?
We didn't play games when I was young as a family because I was too busy being convinced to perform in the family band.
No.
Have you seen the movie A Mighty Wind?
Yes.
So that was my
favorites.
childhood.
No
Full
way.
stop.
Oh my gosh. What was the name of the band?
It was the Gig Harbor Spellemannslag, which is Norwegian for like the Gig Harbor like playing group. Spellemannslag is like a type of band that you would see of like folk music.
Yeah.
In the same way that you would say like a barbershop quartet, and then you know by saying that it is music and both like what type of music it is. If you said like Spellemannslag to a Norwegian person, they would be like, oh yeah, like a family or whatever, and everyone plays like fiddle.
Wait, did everyone play fiddle?
Yeah, my grandma played guitar and my mom played cello, and then me and all my cousins played fiddle. We were like and then our violin teacher got involved in some of her students as well. And at our peak, we were like a band of like 15 or 16 string players.
I bet that sounded amazing. Were you guys pretty good?
Not to toot my own horn, but we were like definitely the best in the region by a long shot when we were doing that. We were like touring all around the state, like every type of Renaissance fair thing or Puyallup fair or whatever you can imagine. We were like the headlining group for many years.
That's so cool.
As Dom gets the 2 to fall in the side pocket.
It's kind of like you gotta have a fiddle in the band.
Well, my name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet, and you're going to regret because I'm the best there's ever been.
He leaves Dom safe.
Holding back a A laugh there.
Trying to keep it in. Gets a lot of action off that kick into the 3 and gets some stuff moving around, and then doesn't leave him too much to work with here. He can see that 3, but not sure where he's going to try and go with it. Yeah, he had a pretty wide pocket there. The way those balls work, you can kind of have a little bit of room for error and make a nice shot, but he didn't need to. He made a perfect shot anyways.
He kind of got the 2 for 1 with a little bit of breakout by coming in contact with the 4. That ended up helping him out quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, opening that up and breaking that 4 out.
And a big draw when he hit the 4, and now we're looking at the 5, but it's hard to say what the plan is here.
Looks like he might be lining up a cross bank to come back to this corner, but we'll just have to wait and see. Rachel said she was a big Yahtzee player. I definitely played Yahtzee as well. That was a fun one. Just to be able to yell Yahtzee. Apparently, Dom is on a Facebook page called...
It's my page.
Dom runs a Facebook page called Yahtzee, bitches.
Yeah, I believe that was from like a former like friends and family dinner night that involved Yahtzee from back in the old world. Oh, with a buy-in and a prize
$5
and
buy-in,
everything.
winner take all. Now that
I mean, purely because the name is so good, I think we need to revive that.
Yeah, I think that maybe needs to happen. Thank you for inspiring us, Rachel, to get back into Yahtzee.
Yahtzee was a classic. I remember as Dom gets the 5 in the corner and just a little shy of coming around for a good look on the 6. I remember being real young, and maybe it was my sister's board game, but it was like a super simple board game called Candyland. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah, Candyland. Everyone was all about Candyland. I loved it. That and Chutes and Ladders. Not
Yep.
Moscone.
The
bastard.
house cat, Moscone, just came in and took
He stole
an
it.
entire chicken tender and
He's just
ran down
running
the
out of
stairs.
the house.
Okay. Well, enjoy
Well, you're
it, bud.
welcome for the food, Moscone. You owe me a couple bucks for that, bro.
Now he runs back between us. I think he's just showing it off. He's proud of his
Oh my.
his hunt there.
What a goof.
Okay.
Tighten up, tighten up.
Get back to my view. Yep.
Nice soft cut by Dom there. Oh, and he gets a little stuck behind the 9 ball. The 6 goes down, but trapped himself there.
Jazzman comes up with a good trivia question. Who won the WPBA Nationals in 1995?
WPBA.
Eddie Mattia is Eva
That'd be my guess.
or Eva Mattia
It's like the Women's Pool Association. Is that what that acronym is?
is Dom's guess, Jazzman. Or maybe Jeanette Lee. Was she that big in 95? No. Almost as exciting. Rachel mentions Mousetrap. That was a good one.
Mousetrap was
Great
a big
game.
deal. I remember the commercial, like very oversold how much you were immediately going to be having fun as soon as you purchased that game. And I was a little bit too young to fully understand the setup and some of the small parts and components. And I remember being very disappointed that it was not as action-packed as the commercial.
It is a pretty quick, the action starts and ends pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of setup. It's like setting up dominoes, hundreds of dominoes. It takes a long time to set up and then real quick to run down.
It's like setting up for this 8 ball in the corner that Joey's done here with some great draw after the 7. That was a nice looking shot. Waiting for the right moment. Going for a little bit of follow there, and he just overcooks it enough to scratch, giving Dom ball in hand and the rack. Unfortunate for Joey. Luckily, he's still got a pad. He's up 3-2. Dom with 2 after that victory means that he'll be back up to break. And
Dom called out that momentum shift a bit earlier and has been following it up pretty well. So we'll see if he can stay on board and stick with that flow. Ride that wave all the way to a win.
yeah,
Ocean references.
nice. Wavy.
Waves.
I should have said I could see. I'll get him next time. Dom gets the 1 to go in the side pocket off the break. That was an unusual break pattern there. It looks like the 3 is a little bit funky, but he can still see the 2.
He didn't make his normal ball in the top corner pocket there.
No, he didn't. And it looks like a little on Joey's side, a little love from the magic rack there pushes the trajectory of that 1 ball that would have been glued right behind the 5 and leaves him with a look on the 2. It's the only downside to that magic rack. Sometimes it comes back to bite you.
That 2 wants to come right back up to the cue ball. But it drifts over and leaves Dom. Looks to be quite a straight shot into that side pocket.
Two in the side pocket it is. Slow roll after contact. Gives him a good look here on the 3. Might have been just a little firm or something there. Rattles that 3 out and gives it right back to Joey. Little stun on the 3. Brings him back, and we're looking at the 4, but not the easiest angle.
I think he can make this work in his favor if he hits it right to get back on that 5 as well.
Yeah.
Stayed on this end of the table just a little bit and drifted onto the other side of the 5 ball. I believe that 5 has a line into the corner pocket between the 9 and the 7. But that is a tight cut all the way down the table.
It'd be okay if you were right here.
Yeah.
I feel like I keep hearing him like chewing on. I've seen him try to steal chicken. No, I've seen him like try to steal chicken wings or anything, but Dom's usually on like, get the fuck away from my chicken.
Now he makes big contact on that 5, gets the 9 ball moving all the way around, but that cue unfortunately drops into the corner pocket. Giving Dom ball in hand here with 5 balls left. Start with the 5 ball. Brandon, to answer your question, this color is, the felt is a gray color.
Shark skin gray, they call it.
Yes. Simonis Steel Gray.
Turns out I'm full of shit. Just saying whatever I want.
It sounded good.
It did. Simona sounds good too. It's got to be the top felt out there that you can get for your table. We're really fortunate because through the hookup of Clean Slate Billiards, which of course is, Clean Slate Pool Tables, which of course is Dom's company, we get access to a lot of premium products and we get to play on some really top of the line pool tables and with top of the line equipment. And you can too if you hire Clean Slate Pool Tables. Happy to have them as a sponsor. Of course, it's a freebie because it's Dom and he's our guy. But again, really grateful to have access to that stuff. We get to play on some great quality tables, world-class workmanship.
As we were talking about that, Dom runs down a few balls down to the 9. Some really good shots. Got a little kick shot off of the rail for that 7, which was really nice. But ended up just barely rattling out that 9 ball. Give Joey here a bit of a cut here for his 4th win of the night.
Wow, that would have been a hell of a cut. Almost got it to go, too. But he'll hand things back over to Dom. Really grateful for modern technology like Skype, so we could beam Eric in remotely to discuss commentary and things with us.
Happy to be here. It's exciting to
Yeah, and with no
see
delay.
you guys again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
You
you're
can't see
here
my
with
air
us.
quotes
Oh, I get it now.
or how I spelled it. SEA. Reused references on Wednesday Night Dive. Those two drift up straight down the table here. Dom's got a cut all the way down into the corner. That was to tie it up. These two seem to be having a little bit of trouble on the 9-ball bit tonight, huh? Did this happen last game too? They had a couple shots on it.
Yeah.
That's a tricky one, man. It's tough when there's no ball after your shot. Sometimes it's tough to hit a ball without thinking about a leave. Tom gets another shot here at that same 9, same corner.
Fall. Rattled it.
Just misses. Gives Dom quite a tough shot here on the 9. They call it a duck. But ducks are hard to shoot. No problem. Tying this matchup 3-3 in a race to 7.
Struggled through that one.
Right. No, I can find myself in my head though. Like I should have had that one on the side. So like,
Just gotta keep it slow, low, soft. What you know? I just said the last thing. Ty get him here in the choke attack.
Everything broke up quite a bit. Nothing drops.
Sorry, I was just still distracted by Moscone, Dom's cat over here, being such a goof. He's like always wants pets and cuddles, and he kind of gets neglected when we're in Shark Attack because everyone's so zoomed in on the match that he just started like snuggling with Eric's computer.
Yeah, I have
Weird-
not moved
weird.
my hand in about 20 seconds, and he's petted himself on my fist
Yeah,
about 20 times.
yeah, he does that.
He was loving the corner of the computer as well. Dom with a gorgeous Z-bank.
nice.
Whether it was intended or not, makes it. But
Grabbing the jump cue.
yeah, he's going to have to jump over that 5. Get at this 2 ball here.
Makes me think about Vince who, with no context, anytime someone grabs a jump cue, always goes, George Bush. And you're like, why? And he's like, dropping bombs.
Oh, man.
Which,
Gorgeous jump shot. Textbook. Talk about dropping bombs.
That's
Dropping doms. I've done better.
that's a nice cut by Dom.
Nice slow pace. I like those easy shots there. When I say easy, I mean with easy pace. Nice, easy, gentle shots. Because that was not an easy. Another easy shot by Dom.
Makes it look easy for sure.
Yeah, he does.
Comes around, has a good look on the 5. You gotta think he's looking at the side pocket here. He is, though he just rattles it out of there and sends it back over to Joey, as they say in France.
Joey even has some, if he makes this 5, he's got some work to do afterwards with that 6 and 7 tied up. I'm not sure if he's going to try to do something about that now or worry about it later.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking, Eric. I mean, I look at like how Dave's like one of our top level guys that hangs out with us on a regular basis, and he's really good at breaking out those shots with like some extra draw or something was kind of what I was thinking. What an unreal
Dom puts a little
situation that just happened there.
extra funk on that, and if that ball caught just perfectly on the side of the pocket where it catches and it sort of rolls around, wraps around, and in golf, again, we call that the old fuck you because it comes all the way around and right back at you. So
It was like a boomerang, man.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
So that 5 ball goes in the pocket and back out to give.
I was trying to draw back and get to the breakout, like you guys were saying, how David might put some weird stuff on it. And it got the weird stuff, but it got way weird on the other end.
A little bit of a hopeful shot there into the cluster, at least to get everything broken out. And Joey comes close, but no cigar. And now Dom's looking at the 5. Gets that to fall in the side pocket, bringing things back around for a pretty sweet look on the 6 in the corner. Nice shot. A little bit of a jiggle in the corner, but it falls nonetheless. I'm curious to everybody in the chat room, who's anticipating participating in our end of season tournament? Give us like a shark emoji in the chat room if you think you're gonna be playing.
Dom there hoping if he had just missed that corner, the fin, if you will, on the side pocket, he would have drifted just far enough past the 9 to have a good shot on the 8, but it barely caught it there and puts himself in trouble, sticking that 9 between him and his object ball.
George Bush.
He's about to drop some doms here. Breaking the jump cue out for the second time this game.
It's a long jump. Ooh.
Man, that was a gorgeous attempt.
The trajectory on that was like really, really great.
Yeah.
It's just an unfortunate bounce there for the cue ball to fall off the table. You got to imagine it would have been somewhere between the back rail and the 9. That might have been safe if it had stayed on the table. That's too bad.
Yeah, it hopped almost straight up, and it looked like it was going to try to hop and come back onto the table, but fell off here, giving Joey ball in hand with 2 balls left. We got Rachel in the chat room throwing out sharks. Excited to have you play with us next week.
Oh, man.
Man.
Unfortunate result there for Joey. Just bobbles it out of the corner pocket.
Weren't done shooting that shot.
Dom talking a little bit about some follow through procedure there on a important shot, mentioning to Joey that he had a tendency on some of those high pressure shots to pop his torso up after shooting. And I think that's something that that we've all actually, I think here, have noticed in each other, in a habit that we've all been breaking as a group. That follow through is like crucial to getting the result on the shot that you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost like over accentuating that follow through and staying down through the shot is really important. You get really excited or really anxious sometimes, and it's easy to hit and jump and try to go to the next ball. Or
Yeah.
yeah,
What I think it does is it ends up either putting some contact on the cue ball or something with your elbow that is like undesirable. The side effect that I notice when I pop up too early is I always end up putting a little bit of top left English on my shot unintentionally.
interesting.
And that's just a mechanic of me moving my body up at the
moving
wrong
your
time.
body up, which moves your right hand down and to the right away.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would make sense. And it really just takes a tiny, minuscule amount of change to really affect the shot.
Yep. Well, a rare dry break by Dom there puts things back in the hands of Joey, looking at the one ball. She's referencing like kids' YouTube.
Good shot on the one there. Stops just shy of the 9 to not get in the way. But that 2 has a bit of work to get by that 8. Pretty slight, real slim room for error there on this shot. So
gets contact on the 2, just a little bit of a brush off the rail, puts it off target, and handing it back over to Dom now.
yeah, that 2 drifted out just far enough to give him a shot. Ooh, doesn't want to fall sitting on the edge. That 2 is living on the edge.
It's too
But
bad
not
that
for
that
long.
was the result of that shot, though, because you got to say, like, the speed and the, well, I mean, the leave on the 3 would not have been great, but in terms of form and approach to that 2 ball and, like, the speed and, like, finesse that he had on that, that's, like, exactly how you want to shoot that. You can't be mad about the result necessarily when the approach is correct and sound.
Absolutely agreed. Yeah, if you remember to stay happy with your form, your focus, all the positives. Sometimes you can do everything right and it still doesn't want to fall. Good shot on that 2 and drifts it out a couple rails to have a good leave here on the 3.
Yeah, speaking of good speed there, he left that, like, really good.
He might have a little issue with that cue ball into this side. He puts a little top on there to avoid going into the side pocket and scratching. 3 just misses out. He's getting down low and taking a close look to see how that cue ball is going to get by that 9 and how that's going to get on the 3. I think he's talking about taking another approach. He's afraid of clipping that 9.
That was a tough one. It's hard to say. It's hard to say which way was the way to go. I mean,
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know what else he could have done there.
Made a good kick attempt, though, and just barely touches it, giving Dom here ball in hand. And he hits a nice shot on that 3. Drifts him up. Looking good on that 4 ball.
Oh,
We got David Lash here on the chat making some predictions. We'll see if that comes true.
Dom with a really great attempt at the shot there. He gets the 5 to go in the corner and had a good look on the 6 and doesn't quite like the result, even though he ends up safe. But what I loved about that 5 ball is the way that he banked that put him in a position where he was likely going to come into contact with the 9 or the 7 and break that out, which would have alleviated a problem that he was going to have later in the rack. Of course, that's all hypothetical and none of that happened, so it doesn't really matter anyways. But here we are with Joey on the 6, looking at a kick. Gets the kick, gets an all right looking angle, but ultimately hands it back over to Dom. Unfortunate for Dom. He gets a great hit on the 7 and gets it to fall, but he does scratch the cue ball. Ball in hand to Joey. 8 and 9 ball left. Big opportunity here for Joey to even the scoreboards. See what he does with the opportunity here.
Makes a great shot on that 8 ball. Comes 2 rails to leave him perfect on that 9. Very well executed. No problem there with that 9. Drops it, giving him even match here. 4-4. Joey's going to take the break here on this next one.
That's pretty cool. I'm just seeing in the chat room that David Lash is a Sharky Waters top fan on Facebook.
Yeah, I noticed that last week.
Taking a look at all of our top fans. They're friends of the show and friends of us in person. Matt Wells, David Lash, Forrest McGilvery, and Tim Whitworth. Shout out to the Sharky Waters top fans.
Yeah, Big Tim, the Fantastic Four.
I got to say, though, to us here in the studio, we know, despite what Facebook may say,
Yeah.
we know that definitely Jazzman is in the top fans
Oh, yeah.
category, and definitely Rachel.
Rachel for sure.
Got to say Tom Okerlund, but that is very dependent on whether or not Eric Okerlund is present as part of the production.
Yeah, yeah.
Dana's been a really big fan, a big supporter for a long time. Shout out to Dana as well. Dom's reminding us that Dana has a pool-related podcast based out of his home country of Canada.
I think he's in...
I even said that kind
Alberta?
of Canadian. Canada?
Canada? Is he... I think he's in Alberta, maybe?
I know it's not Dana, but I know we have some fans up in Calgary as well. Of course.
Also, Casey, huge fan. Teresa.
Yeah, Teresa, who, when present, pretty much finds the shark every week.
Yeah.
Well, Dom gets the 1 to fall, and now we're looking at the 2 ball.
Yeah, Lash, we have no idea how the Facebook figures out the quote-unquote top fan, but it's who comments the most. That list doesn't seem right then.
Well, I believe it's who comments and interacts the most across everything that the page does. So obviously the Sharky Waters Wednesday Night Dive is like our flagship content that we're doing every Wednesday, and that's what we're known for. But we do post and repost a lot of things, and David is among the other people who are listed as top fans, are pretty active in like everything that we're posting. So I'm sure that's why.
Very true.
3 ball goes down in the corner for Joey. Little kick off the rail after contact brings him back up the table to look at the 4 ball. Goes for the kick. Doesn't end up in the pocket, but he does end up pretty safe.
I think Dom's going to hit this hard, get that 9 ball moving around. See if he can make something happen. It looks like he might have ended up hiding that 4 a little bit with the 5
looks
ball
like
in the
it.
way.
It's so basic for being so good as a flour and sugar. Mosconi's like, hey.
Goes for the jump shot there. Ends up giving Dom ball in hand on this 4. Puts that cue ball on the short side. Going for the side pocket here. Very well executed. Drifts it right up to give himself a good line on that 5 down the rail.
Pretty sweet combo attempt there, and that really looked like it was going to go.
Good pace. Just a little bit narrow on that bang or on that kick, and misses the 6. Knocks a 7 out of the way. Gives Dom ball in hand here. He's got a pretty good line to run on these for a bit. Dom stopped for a sec to decide which way he wanted to go with that leave, and he pulls it back. Give himself a great line on the 9 to run those 4, giving him one more win here in the race to 7. Dom will now have 5 wins to Joey's 4 wins. So this is a pretty good back and forth here. Joey sprang on a little bit in the beginning, put some pressure on. Dom came back, and now they have been back and forth here for the last few.
Yeah, this has been a good game. You like seeing. Obviously, we know Dom's game really well. We get to see him week in and week out, and we play with them a lot when the cameras are off as well. But I mean, Eric, you're probably a little more familiar with Joey's game than me. I know you guys have met in some league, and I mean, once or twice maybe.
I think still, he's performing really well tonight. He's playing some good games, and he's hit some really great shots.
Definitely feel that as well.
Yeah.
Bit of a weird break here. Dom reminds Joey that he has the option to push. It was a dry break, and it's a really awkward break. And so Joey has the option to just like push the ball in any direction and kind of forego the rules of contact for one stroke and give it back to Dom.
No table scratch rules there.
And then Dom has the option to shoot the shot that was pushed or to make Joey shoot the shot.
So there's the challenge: is you push, you try to give them not an impossible shot because they'll give it right back to you, but you can't give them an easy shot either because they'll just take it and run with it.
Yeah.
So there's a balance there you have to find.
These guys are playing real even right now, which makes the push not so risky. But when you're I find myself playing against a lot of people that play way better than me, and so the push is like a really risky shot because what I might find really difficult, my opponent might not find that difficult. And so you got to like kind of play to that comfort level there a little bit.
True. Hits that 5 pretty solid, and it stops that cue ball in its tracks. I think it gave Dom a good look here on the one.
It was an all right look on a push. I think he just didn't quite hide the cue ball behind the 4 ball the way he was hoping to, and Dom gets that to fall quite easily and is following up here now on the 2.
That was a really nice leave on that last shot in the 1 to wrap it, to go around the 2 without missing, and then to follow it with the top all the way off 2 rails down to the 3. 2 good shots in a row. 2 really good shots here. Two good leaves. Good feel. Right tempo, right speed. I said tempo now twice.
I'm all about it.
For no reason, but yeah.
In music terminology, we're talking about the same thing here. I also really enjoy that like rhythm is a term that gets used a lot in the pool room. Or just I guess in athletics in general, right?
Yeah, finding your rhythm, finding your tempo. Yeah, a lot of different sports play to that.
Singing on key, tuning your drums. These are all things that we say. Oh no, maybe not those last
Singing
two.
in unison. Ooh. Or
Killer Tofu. Doug? Nickelodeon? Anyone? Dom makes great contact on the 4 ball with the jump. Does not get it to fall, however, so he will hand things back over to Joey.
Joey have a look on this here? Can he see this 4 ball?
I think he's right behind the 8, and he's confirming that now as well.
He's going to have to kick around here.
disappointing. I just got a reminder on my calendar that of a concert that Grandmasters was booked to perform this week. That, of course, due to gathering bands, we were not able to play. We were booked to be the support act, the main support act for a sold-out show at the McMiniman Spanish Ballroom with Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yes, I was so excited about that show. Sir Mix-a-Lot. That would have been quite an experience for you guys.
It would
Really
have been, Joe and I have worked with him before. Joe's previous band that I was their like touring sound technician. We got to do a big show at the Temple Theater here in Tacoma, Washington with Sir Mix-a-Lot a few years ago for a sold out Halloween party with like 1,300 people or something. It was an absolute blast.
Temple, that's a big, is that bigger than the ballroom?
It is by a couple hundred people. Yeah, the Temple Theater's about the size of the Showbox Market up in Seattle. Well, Dom does well to get the 4 and to lock the 5 up to the 8. So it's going to be a little bit of an awkward move here for Joey. But yeah, the reason I bring that up is, a shout out to Dano Presents, our very own Dan Rankin, owner of the Airport Tavern here in Tacoma, Washington, who has provided a lot of those opportunities for both Joe and my music groups over the years. A lot of opportunities for everyone, I would say. And there is a lot of concern for our entertainment facilities about how long they're going to survive with everything being shut down. You know, not being able to operate your business doesn't mean that you don't have to pay rent or that you don't have to pay your business taxes and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
so it's a really important
tough
time now for anyone that out there that feels like music and live events and event spaces and art galleries or anything of that nature. If those are things that are important to you, it's really important that you, like, A, if possible, find a way to donate to some nonprofits that are supporting those things, and or B, to write your Congress people in support of not only debt forgiveness, but just straight up non-loan cash subsidy for those type of businesses. Or I think we're going to find that a lot of our iconic spaces that we've been entertaining people with art and music and all kinds of different performance art are not going to be here come fall time. And it's a big concern.
Yeah, that worries me a lot.
Pool halls are right up there in that discussion as well.
Oh, yeah. Joey makes good contact here, kicking it around the table. Leaves Dom here a couple of balls to run. But yeah, it's so different nowadays, and we have no idea really what's to come. There's no way to know. But you can do your part if you'd like, and like Tor was saying, donate and help out those local businesses and those.
Music Cares is a great foundation that is awarding subsidy to displaced entertainment industry workers.
You said Music Cares?
Music Cares, like Music Cares, but just with one C. And that's run by the Grammy Foundation. Of course, you're familiar with the Grammy Awards that happen every year. They do a lot for music education and for music industry support. I would recommend donating to them as one of your choices if you're music adjacent like I am. Joey ties things up again, 5-5. Even keel match here. Joey be up to break on this next rack as well.
Truly a back and forth match here between these two. Neither one of them want to let the other one run away with it. So,
speaking of supporting local businesses, shout out to Fred Vetters in the chat room of the Tipsy Tomato, one of our faithful and beloved sponsors of the show this season. We've got a big old lasagna here that was prepared at Tipsy by Fred and his staff, family and friends and coworkers, and
they make fantastic food. You know, I haven't had their lasagna yet, but I've had enough of their other food that I know it's going to be amazing. looks like another dry break here. Nice spread, though. Got the balls all the way around the table.
I was saying the exact same thing about Fred's cooking earlier. We must have eaten about 100 of their pizzas by now. I think like this last year.
Oh, Dom said 33 pizzas,
33
but 33 episodes.
And we're typically getting 2 to 3 pizzas after every episode, either there or getting delivered or whatever. I would say on average, I think we're actually are over 100 this year, probably. That's like a realistic number. I haven't had a single slice of Tipsy tomato pizza that I haven't loved. Real talk.
100%. For real, though. That's amazing. Amazing stuff.
And that's why I'm so excited about that lasagna.
Yeah, I can't wait. Is this like a... Do we throw it in the oven?
Yeah, I think it is a take and bake type deal.
Tries to get contact on the one, just misses out. Dom here has a ball in hand, but a table full of balls.
Gives it a good amount of follow. I think he can just see that 2 ball there through the window.
Well, I just found out that my roommate flooded the bathroom. Whatever that means. So, looking forward to...
Speaking of lasagna.
Yeah, I leave the house one time. And this is what you do. It's a very vague term, though. I'm not sure how to take that or exactly what that means. Oh, just drifts in. Oh, there we go. Dom calls Joey out on a second scratch in a row.
We did not talk about the 3 foul rule. You want to run them by it, Eric?
Yeah, basically the 3 foul rule is if your opponent calls you out on your second foul, audibly, out loud, and you foul a 3rd time in a row on that next turn, then
death penalty.
Game over. Fervor. Verdi.
What?
Finish each other's sandwiches.
Squimpchinsmins. That was not a word. I was just feeling like making a random weird sound. And it reminded me of a fun fact that
Neologist.
their children, specifically boys under the age of 5, typically 1/3 of the words that they say are absolute gibberish.
Wow.
A friend of mine who was like a new dad told me that statistic many years ago. Dom goes for the safety.
Drifts it out a little bit far, but it looks like that 3 ball is far enough away from the side pocket that he doesn't have an easy kick in here. Fred Vetters here feeling honored. He says the sauce for the lasagna, I've been making it with his mom. He's been making it with his mom since he was 4.
Wow.
So he said,
shout out Mama Vetters.
Yeah, shout out Mama Vetters, indeed. Very excited to give this a try, and I might actually go hop over and preheat that oven now.
Yeah, good call.
Hey, Fred, if you're out there, did you put directions in with this, or what temperature do we do our oven at?
I'm thinking with lasagna, that's probably like a 425. I'm guessing, just because of the thickness of it. When you think about like a pizza is like a 325 to 350 usually, right?
Yeah, but a frozen pizza, the thin ones are like 425. I think thicker stuff is a lower and slower sort of thing, maybe. I'm also not a baker at all.
Side
nor are you a candlestick maker. Dom, unfortunately, scratches in the side pocket. Mother's Day was this last Sunday.
Correct. It absolutely was. My mom got me a great plant for Mother's Day.
Your mom got you a plant for
Yeah.
Mother's Day?
Yeah, it was pretty cool, actually.
No way.
I got her a blanket and cooked her dinner.
That was very sweet of you. I did dinner at Mom's house as well for Mother's Day. And her rule on Mother's Day always is no gifts, no fuss, and no giving Mom shit. Which, of course, the latter rule is the one that gets thrown out the window the first, and we all end up just ganging up on Mom. But we're a sarcastic bunch, my family, and that's sarcasm is our love language, I believe you could say.
Yeah, you make fun of the ones you love the most.
Yeah, I truly do. I was like endearingly teased a lot as a youngster. And Dom makes contact the second time around, but because a ball does not touch a rail after contact, ball in hand. Back to Joey. I made a post on Mother's Day. I normally, on Mother's Day and Father's Day, say something like, hug your mom or hug your dad. And I was trying to be funny because
I saw your post, yeah.
given the circumstances, like hugging is strictly forbidden by the government. We're in a hug-free zone. Well, no, not literally, but doesn't comply with social distancing. So I wrote, text your mom, and surprisingly got a lot of backlash. I shouldn't say, I don't want to say I was shocked, but a little disappointed, to say the least. Some people were like, don't tell me what to do. Or, of course, some people were like, well, that's not an option. My mom has passed, or, other things that I didn't think about and didn't intend to make people feel sensitive about. But I felt so weird about the whole thing because I literally got more negative response than positive response. And I felt like text your mom is a pretty appropriate thing to say on Mother's Day. So I wrote, edit, text quote unquote, your mom to someone who beat you in an argument.
I don't know. I wouldn't have taken offense to that. I've had my mom pass, but I wouldn't have taken offense to that. But
Yeah, it's an interesting reaction. I wouldn't have expected. Maybe they're just real fans of email, and
Fax
texting
is
is just
preferable.
Yeah, like texting leads more to 2 or 3 sentences, and they're like, you know what, my mom deserves 2 paragraphs, so I'm gonna email.
I'm sure that it was more a circumstance of people are just feeling a little bit high strung right now, a little bit stressed out in general. And as Dom gets the 8-ball to fall in the quarter pocket.
Also, as we get official word from Fred Vetters on how to perfectly cook this lasagna. Thank you. I'm gonna get that oven preheating.
Nice one, Fred, for the info. As Dom gets the 9-ball to fall, that puts him up on the hill, 6-5. Pressure's on here in the Shark Attack. Nice out, Dom. Interesting, you usually see some peaks and some slumps throughout the game for each player. It's like not unusual in a multi-rack game like this. But what's been interesting about that is the slumps and the peaks for each player seems to have been coming both at the same time. When Joey was shooting well, Dom was shooting well. There's a couple moments earlier on when the guys were struggling with a 9-ball, and it seemed to be plaguing both of them until it wasn't. And just interesting to see that one person's success can motivate the next person's, and one person's lack thereof can do the same as well.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely something that happens sometimes, is you sort of morph into someone else's game a little bit. When you play different people,
Yeah.
your game changes with the opponent a bit. Just barely misses a great shot all the way down the table into the corner there.
Well, speaking of the going back to the what I was talking about, the canceled concert with Sir Mix-a-Lot, I do want to toot my own horn here real quick, if you guys don't mind, and mention again that all the music that we play in the background are beats that are composed by me. I'm, of course, when I say me, I am Tor here, the co-host and producer of this show. My stage name and real whole first name is Torbjorn.
No spaces.
One ball in the corner pocket, a nice shot by Dom. But if you're interested in this music and you want to hear more music, I live stream DJ sets and update a weekly playlist of hip hop and electronic music and chill hop beats on Spotify and SoundCloud. You can find all of that stuff at beatsbytor.com.
Ooh, he's trying to get a lot of power and get that cue ball all the way around the table, just barely. If he had just missed the corner pocket, it would have been perfect. It was a good attempt. So, Tor, what is your Monday, Case of the Mondays, your weekly live stream show that you do with a local artist? With social distancing, has that changed that a bit?
It has not, because part of the I don't want to say bill, because I guess it's not a bill, but whatever the verbiage that was passed by Governor Inslee stated that musicians gathering in numbers of 4 or lower for live streaming events is considered essential. That was one of the workarounds so that musicians could still kind of busk, if you will, like street performance and like take donations and stuff like that. But back to your question, social distancing has changed that a lot. I've had a few people decline to come on the show for fear of the health of someone close to them, which is, of course, is totally understandable. But what the show itself is, the show is called Case of the Mondays, and it is live performances and new music releases weekly. Case of the Mondays on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific at beatsbytor.com. It's me and a guest artist every week, and I'm playing songs in a DJ set that came out within the last 7 days. And then the featured artist is playing 30 minutes of their original music, and we do that back to back for an hour and kind of field some questions and just talk about what's on our mind and share some art. The idea behind it is that traditionally, Monday's like the worst day of the week. Everyone hates Mondays. You got to go back to school. You got to go back to work. It's like the start of your 9-to-5 grind all over again. And so I decided that when I went full-time with the music and music industry related stuff, I decided that I was going to turn Monday into an enjoyable day and reinvent what historically for me was just a shitty day that I didn't like to experience. I wanted to change that and give a little bit of that energy off to everybody else who I feel like probably also has a little bit of that vibe in their life, and see if we can turn around the vibe of a Monday and make it enjoyable.
So has that officially changed your opinion on Mondays? Is it no longer your least favorite day of the week?
Well, now the show has become so big that I have to spend my entire Monday prepping for it. So it's become an office day again. But as far as like whatever office day type grind jobs that I could be doing, doing something where I get to curate music playlists and live streams for all of my music peers and music friends and fans. It's become, despite it being an office day, it's become kind of a dream job. I've got artists from literally all over the world sending me music every week, asking me to review their albums and review their new songs and asking to be featured on the show. It's taken something that is typically kind of a daunting task for DJs, which is to be up on all of the newest music all the time and play the most, current and frequent and recent stuff, It's made that task kind of come to me, which has been really great.
Take some of the pressure off you to find that.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, like, because I effectively have like taken that job and I've turned it into a way that I can give back to artists by promoting their music for them. And then what they've given back to me for that gift has been like taking a huge workload off of my shoulders by coming to me instead of me having to dig through all of the other playlists and streams and all of that stuff.
Great example of how we all succeed if we work together.
Totally. All boats rise with the tide. Absolutely.
I see what you did there.
Nice.
SEA.
That was an ice one. Dom gets the 8.
Slow roll on the 9,
And he gets it to go. That's the match. Shark Attack goes to Dom. It was really neck and neck there for a minute, and Joey played a great game of pool. You know, we've seen those neck and neck games go both ways on plenty different occasions, in Dom's favor or in the guest's favor, and tonight it was to Dom. So big ups to Dom for that win. God knows Joey didn't make it easy. Well, now it's Shark Attack is over, and it's time for the break pot. So Joey's going to take out his $10 and put that inside the treasure chest. That is inside the treasure chest. Eric, I don't know if you saw on Debbie's episode or not, but we are going to need you to stain that second box because the first one was such a hit. It's been requested by several guests. $10 in the break pot. So the rules are that you play one racket 9-ball and you got to get all the way to the end, or you got to combo and carom the 9-ball. And as long as you keep making a ball, you get to keep shooting. And if that 9-ball drops on a legal shot, then you're taking home the money in the break pot.
$70 on the line. Ooh.
Come on, something. Nope,
Man, that 9-ball almost went
Yeah,
down.
it really wanted to speak towards the corner.
nothing. Dang.
Unfortunate.
All right.
Put her here. Am I on? Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. And that was Joey Reinhardt. I am not on. I am on.
Oh, wait. Is your switch on? Is your battery dead?
Let's see.
Eric, you want to just hand him your mic?
I'm on.
Yeah, it's not, I don't know. It's something funky.
Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's Sharky Waters Wednesday Night Dive. I'm your host, Dom, and this is our special guest shooter, the Shark Joey
Thank you.
Reinhardt. Brought to you by Torbjorn Kasperson, my good friend, and Eric the Clock Doctor, our good manager of time. It's good to have you back. Shout out to the sponsors, Tipsy Tomato. Thanks for the lasagna. That was a hard one to say. Harold Prine at Prine Custom Kias and Clean Slate Pool Tables. You guys can look us up on the wall and give us a shout. Keep up with your practice. I think next week I'm going to practice short angle cut shots.
Yeah.
But we will have the season finale. Please tune in. Next week we're going to be taking in the entry fees, probably starting at, say, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. We'll probably be around the house around 6, but we'll be starting at 7 o'clock like we do every week on the Wednesday Night Dive. So get in your practice, because perfect practice makes a perfect performance. And be well. Enjoy. Peace.
Sweet. All right. Cool.
Good shoot, Joey. Yeah, you almost got